One of the most common questions I hear from caregivers is, how do I know what stage we're in? And underneath that question is usually another one, a harder one, a scarier one. What's going to happen next, Dr. Sinclair? Because once a diagnosis enters your family, it's natural to start looking ahead. Will they still recognize me? Will they be able to live alone? Will they need help with everything? How quickly will things change? As a neuropsychologist, I've had these conversations with families for nearly 2 decades. And one thing I've learned is that most families, most people think that dementia progression is solely just about memory. But memory is only one part of the equation. The real story is that different brain systems become harder to access over time. And those changes affect much more than remembering names or appointments. They affect judgment, emotional regulation, communication, flexibility, awareness, and eventually the ability to navigate everyday life. So today I want to walk you through a different kind of staging model and explain not only what care partners typically observe, but what's happening inside the brain that creates those changes. Because when you understand the brain, the behaviors make a lot more sense. And when things make more sense, they become a little less frightening. Hi, for those of you who are new here, I'm Dr. Sinclair. I'm a neuropsychologist, dementia care specialist, and founder of the Confident Caregiver Academy. Let's jump on in. Before we jump into the stages, I'd like you to first imagine the brain is a massive library. For years, every memory, skill, routine, relationship, and life experience has been carefully stored on the shelves. In the early stage, the books are still there. They're just becoming harder to find. In the middle stage, entire sections of the library become harder to access. And by the later stage, even familiar books may no longer be easy to locate. The important thing to understand is this: the books don't disappear all at once. Access changes gradually, and that gradual change is what creates the stages that care partners experience. So let's start with the first stage. Mild stage, the brain begins working harder. One thing that surprises many families is how normal someone can appear during the early or milder stage. They may still be driving, managing conversations, preparing meals, socializing, making decisions. From the outside, life can look relatively unchanged. But behind the scenes, the brain is often working much harder than it used to. This is where we frequently see changes involving the hippocampus, the brain structure heavily involved in forming new memories. The person may begin forgetting recent conversations. They may be repeating questions, misplacing items, missing appointments, having trouble learning new information. But here's what many care partners miss. The person often recognizes these changes in the early stage, and that awareness can create anxiety, embarrassment, frustration, even depression. This is why some people begin withdrawing socially. They're not necessarily becoming antisocial, they're becoming aware that something feels different, and it's scary. One care partner described it perfectly. She said, "It's like my husband knows the answers are in there somewhere, but he can't always reach them." That's often exactly what it feels like. The books are still in the library. Finding them simply requires a lot more effort, and because the brain is working harder, fatigue often becomes noticeable as well. This is also the stage where families make one of the biggest mistakes. They assume, things aren't that bad, because the person still looks relatively independent. So not a lot of action is often taken during this stage. But this is often the most important time to begin learning dementia-specific communication and caregiving skills, because the strategies that work during this stage often becomes the foundation for everything else that follows. Second stage, moderate stage, the brain begins losing efficiency. If stage 1 is often characterized by memory becoming harder, stage 2 of Alzheimer's is often categorized by independence becoming harder. This is the stage where many families begin realizing we can't rely on the same strategies anymore. And this can be incredibly difficult emotionally because the changes become harder to dismiss. Your person with dementia may still have many moments of clarity. They may still recognize family, they may still participate in conversations, but everyday life often requires more support. This is where we frequently see changes involving the frontal lobes and other brain networks responsible for planning, judgment, emotional regulation, and cognitive flexibility. And those changes often create some of the most challenging caregiving situations. This is the stage where care partners commonly begin saying things like, why are they so stubborn? Why do they get upset when plans change? Why are they arguing with me constantly? Why won't they just accept my help? But remember what we've talked about in previous videos. What often looks like stubbornness is actually reduced cognitive flexibility. The brain is becoming less able to shift gears, less able to adapt, less able to consider alternative explanations. Imagine it like driving a car whose steering wheel has become increasingly difficult to turn. That's often what cognitive inflexibility looks like. The person isn't necessarily choosing to be rigid, their brain is having more difficulty changing direction. This is also the stage where care partners may begin noticing changes in self-awareness. So, for example, mom may no longer safely manage medications. Dad may no longer safely be able to drive, although he thinks he can. But when concerns are raised, they insist, I'm fine, I don't need your help, you're worrying too much. And again, here, care partners may assume that they're in denial. But sometimes what's happening is actually called anosognosia. The brain is losing the ability to accurately evaluate its own functioning, which means your person genuinely may not see the problem with what they're doing. This realization changes everything for you because it helps you to stop asking, how do I convince them to stop doing XYZ? And instead, now you can ask the question, how do I keep them safe when they think that they are? Another major change during this stage involves emotional regulation. Many caregivers expected memory problems. What they didn't expect was the anger, the anxiety, the extreme fear, suspicion, emotional reactions. As the brain becomes less efficient at regulating emotions, feelings often become bigger and harder to manage. And because confusion is increasing, the brain may interpret more situations as threatening. A shower may now feel unsafe. A caregiver's help may now feel controlling. A doctor's appointment may now feel frightening. This is why communication becomes so important during the moderate stage, because facts and logic often become less effective, while reassurance, validation skills, and emotional connection become increasingly important. And this is usually the stage where care partners begin realizing this is way bigger than memory, because it is. The moderate stage isn't merely about forgetting, it's about multiple brain systems becoming less efficient at working together, which means caregiving often requires a completely different approach than it did before. Quick pause, care partners. If you are understanding dementia just a little bit more with this video, then please like and subscribe. That small action tells YouTube to send this video to other care partners who are also struggling and need this information. Thank you. Third stage, the late stage. The brain struggles to interact with the world. When most people think about late-stage dementia, they often focus on memory, their person forgetting their name, for example. But, as I've already mentioned, memory is actually one piece of the picture. At this stage, the brain is having difficulty coordinating many different systems. Communication becomes harder, understanding language becomes harder, initiating activities becomes harder, navigating the environment becomes harder, completing simple tasks becomes harder. The library we talked about earlier still contains some books, but accessing them has become increasingly difficult. And this is where I think care partners benefit from an important mindset shift. Earlier in the journey, we often focus on helping the person with dementia remember, for example, giving them reminders. Later in the journey, we often focus on helping the person feel safe, feel comfortable, feel connected, feel loved. Because even when words become difficult, emotion still remains. One of the biggest misconceptions about late-stage dementia is that the person is no longer there. Families will sometimes ask, does she still know who I am? And while that answer can be complicated, I often remind families of something important. Please hear this. The ability to express recognition and the ability to experience connection are not the same thing. I've seen individuals who could no longer communicate clearly visibly relax when a familiar voice entered the room. I've seen people in late-stage dementia smile and come alive when hearing a favorite song. I've seen individuals respond to touch warmth, humor, and affection long after their language abilities have dissipated. And that's important because it reminds us that connection still matters. In fact, during this stage, it matters more than ever. This is also the stage where caregivers often provide increasing assistance with activities of daily living. Assistance with eating, dressing, bathing, mobility, medical care. And while those responsibilities can feel overwhelming, I always encourage my families to remember something very important. The goal is not perfection. The goal is preserving dignity, preserving comfort, and preserving connection whenever possible, because those things continue to matter all throughout every stage of the journey. What most caregivers get wrong about stages. Now, after hearing all of this, I want to address one mistake I see care partners make all the time. They become obsessed with figuring out what stage are we in. And I understand why. Stages feel predictable. They feel concrete. They feel like they should provide certainty. But real life doesn't always fit neatly into stage descriptions. Many people show characteristics from multiple stages at the same time. Some abilities remain stronger than expected, while others decline more rapidly than expected. And every brain is different, which is why I often encourage asking a different question. Instead of, what stage are we in? Ask, what is their brain struggling with today? Is it memory, fear, overstimulation, confusion, fatigue, loss of awareness, difficulty communicating? Because once you understand what the brain is struggling with, you know how to respond. And that's ultimately much more useful than trying to perfectly label a stage. Now, don't get me wrong, the stage may help you understand what's happening, and I do think that there's value there, but understanding what the brain is struggling with helps you know what to do. Before we wrap up, I want to point out something very important. Most families are told what stage their loved one is in. Very few are taught what to do in that stage. That's exactly why so many caregivers feel overwhelmed. Because knowing you're in the middle stage doesn't automatically tell you how to respond when your loved one refuses a shower. Knowing you're in the early stage doesn't tell you how to handle repetitive questions. Knowing you're in the later stage doesn't tell you how to preserve connection when communication becomes difficult. Information is important, but information alone doesn't build confidence. Skills build confidence. The ability to understand what the brain is struggling with, the ability to communicate effectively, the ability to respond to difficult behaviors, the ability to reduce conflict and create more moments of connection, those are skills that make this journey feel more manageable. And that's exactly why I created the Confident Caregiver Academy. Inside the Academy, I teach families how to decode behavior, understand the changing brain, and develop practical strategies for navigating each stage of dementia with greater confidence. Because most families are told what dementia is, very few are taught how to live with it. We're welcoming a small group of families into our next cohort and currently have 4 openings available. If you'd like to learn more, I'll go ahead and place a link below. Feel free to schedule a call with me. And now let's come back to the library we talked about at the beginning of the video. In the early stage, the books are still there. They're simply becoming harder to find. In the middle stage, entire sections become more difficult to access. And in the later stage, even familiar books may be difficult to reach. But here's what I hope you'll remember. Please remember this part. A person is more than their memory. A person is more than their diagnosis. And a person is certainly more than a stage. The stages can help us understand what's changing, but they don't tell the whole story. Because throughout every stage, there's still a person deserving of dignity, a person deserving of patience, a person deserving of compassion, and often a person still capable of experiencing comfort, connection, humor, music, love, and joy. Thank you so much, Care Partners, for spending this time with me today. If today's video was helpful, let me know in the comments. Specifically, you can share what stage do you think your loved one is in currently, or what change has surprised you the most during this journey. I read as many of the comments as I can, and your experiences often inspire future videos. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.